Hi everybody, hello everybody, welcome to my little channel, Beatles fans around the world. I hope you're all doing well. A few days have passed now. Today it is Wednesday. I did my last video on Sunday, which we did a live unboxing of this Beatles Revolver box set. At the time I did say I hadn't had time to listen to it, obviously, because you saw me, if you watched that video, you actually saw me unbox it and unseal it. And then I just went through what I thought the contents were. I've now had time to listen to some of it. This is basically going to be my actual thoughts on what the records sound like. Now, you may or may not know, this box set is actually made in the Czech Republic. And the other recent Beatles box sets like Let It Be and Beatles White Album were actually pressed in Germany. So there was a little bit of question mark over the sound quality. From what I've played so far, I will be honest, I haven't played it all. I've played all of this. Well, I've played it all. The only thing I haven't actually played is the 4-track EP, which I'll go into a bit more detail in a few minutes. So if you're still waiting for your box sets, you know, I haven't got much longer to wait. Excuse me. So we'll start off with the stereo one. We'll do the stereo remixed album. Then we're going to look at the mono. It's not really a remaster. It's taken from the original analog master tapes, and it's got the all-important first version of Tomorrow Never Knows on it. And then we'll look at the sessions LP, double LP. Right, so we'll kick off with the stereo remastered version. As I said in the other video, the artwork and everything, that's okay. I think it would look better with flip back sleeves. Now, I've played this on two different record decks. I've played it on my project record deck going through my Denon amp and Denon speakers in the music room, and then I've also played it on my Technics hi-fi system downstairs going through a Technics amp and Technics speakers. Now, to me, this, I don't know if it's me getting old or I don't know, but to me this doesn't really sound any different to the 2012 remix version of this album. There is very, very slight differences on a few of the songs. Paul's bass does sound a little bit louder or clearer, if you want to call it that. But the rest of it, to me, doesn't really seem any different, which in one way is good, because the only thing with remixed albums is sometimes they can over remix it so it doesn't sound anything like the original album. So I'm not criticizing it when I say it doesn't sound that different, but to me it doesn't sound that different. That's just me being honest. Overall, you know, the production and everything is good, and the overall sound quality is brilliant, by the way. For saying, you know, this is, like a lot of people said, they didn't know what the sound quality was going to be like because it was pressed in the Czech Republic. It's on par with anything we've had before, put like that. I wouldn't necessarily it's anywhere anything better than what we've had before. Like I say, to me, this just sounds like a slightly remixed version of the 2012 albums that came out. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying it's wrong, so there's nothing wrong with it. It is still a very, very nice album to listen to, and it is very, very enjoyable to listen to. So that's the stereo album. I'm not going to go through it track by track. I'm going to try and make this video a little bit quicker than the one we did on Friday, because I think the one on Friday was best part of 40 odd minutes long. So yeah, I haven't got no problem with it. Like I say, the only thing is, for saying it's supposed to be a remixed album, to me it didn't sound that remixed, but to me that is a good thing, not necessarily a bad thing. Like I say, it played very, very nicely, was very enjoyable to listen to. The next one, this is the one I've actually played the most, to be honest, is the mono version. Again, to the untrained ear, Tomorrow Never Knows doesn't actually sound that different until you listen to it a few times, and then you put another. If you're lucky enough to have another mono copy, which I've got a few mono copies from the 1960s, and compare it, then yes, it does sound considerably different. I would say this actually sounds slightly better than the stereo, but that is just to my ears, and that is just my opinion. It's a cracking album to listen to. You know, it's one of them. This is actually a hard one to judge because I was brought up with the mono mix of this anyway, and I've always preferred the mono mix of this album to the stereo version anyway. So, but I do think they have made a very, very nice job of it, and you know, especially in the UK, to get a mono copy of Revolver from the 60s, which is like anything in decent condition, is virtually impossible. So you are sort of like getting the best of two worlds with this, because you're getting the original mix, although it's a brand new record. Sounds fantastic, by the way. And yeah, hats off, 100%. You know, well done, Apple and everybody that is concerned with this. Again, the only thing that slightly lets it down to me is it's not in a flip back sleeve, but that doesn't affect the way it sounds. It is a fantastic sounding album. You know, I'd definitely give that a 10 out of 10. The stereo one, I would give a 9 out of 10. But that is basically because I always prefer the mono version of this album anyway. So I might be being a little bit unfair on that. And to be honest, you know, we're all going to get different versions or different opinions with these albums, because a lot of it is down to do with your equipment and your, you know, your amps and your speakers and stuff like that. What sounds brilliant to me might not sound brilliant on your equipment, or vice versa. But like I'm saying, this is just my personal review on what I think of it. I think it's brilliant. I do actually think, you know, they've done a very, very worthwhile job on this one, and it's probably a shame that this isn't going to get a standalone release like the stereo one is, because I think a lot of the up and coming Beatles fans who can't afford like the original mono ones would love this, and it is nice to have that alternative take of Tomorrow Never Knows. Although to me it is nice to have, you know, but I'll just leave it like that. It's lovely. Let's put this way, right? It's nice that we can now go out. Okay, you've got to buy the box set, which is £100+, but to get that take, it is worth it, because you go on eBay and Discogs and you try and get an original mono version of this that has that original take of Tomorrow Never Knows on, you're going to be talking best part £200 for anything in near excellent condition anyway, and that's if you can find one in excellent condition. So that's why I'd say this box set is worthwhile just getting for that. Now on to the sessions. Bit of mixed feelings with this, to be honest. I love the way it's presented in the gatefold sleeve and things like that. But when I've been listening to it, I've been thinking, I did know some of the tracks anyway, because I've got a bootleg CD somewhere called the Alternative Revolver. They're like the Eleanor Rigby strings, you know, where it's just the strings and stuff, where on that. But I think a lot of the other songs on that, not all of them, but a few of them, were actually on Anthology 2. Is it Anthology 2? But overall, it is a nice album. Again, it is lovely to listen to. The only thing I would say is, let me just put my reading glasses on for 1 second. To me, I think it's fantastic. I've got no worries or anything about listening to take after take after take of Got to Get You Into My Life, or take after take after take of I'm Only Sleeping. You know, but to the casual Beatles fan, they probably won't like this, to be honest. I think you've got to be, you know, some sort of fanatic to want to have this. I mean, to me, it's brilliant to have all these different versions of the same songs. You know, I mean, you get 2 versions of Tomorrow Never Knows. You've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, Then you've got four, three. Yeah, so you get 2 versions to My Never Knows. Then you get 3 versions of Got to Get Into My Life, 3 versions of Love You Too. Then you've got Paperback Light. You've got 2 versions of Rain, Dr. Robert, and Your Bird Can Sing, 2 versions. That's just on the first album. Second album, you've got another version of And Your Bird Can Sing. You've got a nice version of Taxman on here, by the way. Then you've got 1, 2, 3. Then you've got 4 versions of I'm Only Sleeping, 2 versions of Eleanor Rigby, 1 version of Film No One, which is just a backing track, which I'm a bit surprised that it didn't do like an alternative take, but but it's okay. To be nice. It's lovely just to like sit and listen to that, and you can sing along to it, and you actually realise what a beautiful song it is. Then you get 1, 2, 3. You get 4 different versions of Yellow Submarine. Then you get another version of I Want to Tell You. Then you get Here, There, Everywhere, and then 2 versions of She Said, She Said. Overall, the sound quality and everything on these are brilliant, by the way. But I would say this is more for the completist or the Beatles fanatic like me than just the casual Beatles listener. But that is just me being honest. I don't think this is going to get a standalone release anyway, is it, this? Although I think you're going to get a selection of the tracks off this on the double CD version, aren't you? I mean, to me, it's great. I mean, I can listen to this again and again and again and again. And every time I listen to this, I will hear something different, which is the good thing, because although you think you know the songs on here, which you do, because you know the versions that were released, every time you listen to one of these unreleased versions, you will hear something completely different. I'll give you a clue. The first version on here of I'm Only Sleeping, which is classed on here as a rehearsal fragment, actually does sound like a dream, if that makes sense. That leaves the Paperback Writer 4-track EP, which, to be honest, I haven't actually got round to listening to yet, because I've been more concerned or more busy playing the sessions. I think I played the mono version album the most, that would be sessions, and I think I've only played stereo version twice. So I might be doing the stereo version a little bit of injustice by saying I can't really sound a lot of difference to the 2012 reissue. But having said that, it does sound very clear and crisp and fresh, as does the mono version. So does most of the songs on the sessions one as well. I'm just trying to be fair and to give it, well, my thoughts on what it sounds like to me. So this is the only one that I haven't played so far, which I probably will do in a bit. But to be honest, that's like a bonus, isn't it? Really, it's not. Is it an essential part of this box set? I mean, it is, because it was recorded at the same time, but it's still nice to have. And then we did look. We've already looked at the book, haven't we? So I'm not going to go into the book. Price-wise, I paid £165 for that, and I've just checked that did include the postage and the packaging. And like I say, I got it from HMV, and I can't praise them enough for the way that they packaged it, made sure it got here safely and securely, and they did get it here for the day of the release, which was the Friday the 28th. And for saying I only ordered it like 2 weeks before it actually came, I can't fault them. Now, looking on what I paid for the Let It Be box set last year, I think I paid £125 for that. So is this box set worth £40 more than that? In all honesty, no. I don't think it is. But you've got to remember, everything's gone up, hasn't it? In the past year, everything's gone up. I mean, petrol and oil's gone up, and what are records made of? They're made from oil, aren't they? Or byproduct of oil. Then you've got electric gas and stuff. So where these are being pressed, that's gone up. And then you've got the transportation, getting them from the factories to the depots where we've ordered them from and things like that. Then you've got the delivery as well. So in hindsight, it probably isn't, in real terms, any more expensive than what I paid for the Let It Be box set last year. Although it is. But if you take everything into account, then it isn't, is it? That's what I'm trying to put across. You've got to remember, if you think it's expensive, yes, it is expensive, but you think what's gone up in the past year. And if you're using something like a record, where you need a big factory and you need workforces, and you know, so you've got to have heat and electric and all that lot, you can understand why things have gone up. Whether it's right or not, that's a different matter. But that is the way of the world, isn't it? At the minute, you know, everything's gone up, hasn't it? I mean, I've even noticed, like, where I work, a bag of crisps has gone up from, I think they've gone up about 30 pence a bag of crisps in the past 6 months. So, you know, and chocolate's gone up. Can't believe it now. A Yorkie bar now is £1.20 in Derby. £1.20 for a Yorkie bar. That's going off the point. So if you, let's just put it like this, right? If you have not yet got this box set, right, if you have not yet got this box set, right, but you're thinking of getting it, but the price is putting you off, don't get me wrong, the price put me off originally, but I actually got this for less than what the original price was going to be. But if the price is putting you off, right, you just think what you bought last, you just think of something you bought last year, right, and then if you can work out what that costs now, you'll find it's gone up, hasn't it? I'm not trying to justify it or anything. That's all I'm saying. Yes, it is expensive, but you've got to remember, you know, fuel and everything's gone up. Plus, there's a war in Russia that the media's trying to blame everything on as well. So, so if you look at it in relative to last year, then you're not really paying any more than the Let It Be box set, which again was quite expensive, wasn't it? But you know, if you're comparing like for like, really, that is no more than that. That's what I'm trying to say. I probably said that in the wrong way. I don't know, but I think you'll know what I mean. You know, everything is going up. I mean, petrol around here is going up daily, and it's not by like a penny. It's going up like 2 or 3p a day. You know, things like that. But it is an enjoyable. It really is an enjoyable album to listen to, or enjoyable box set to listen to, should I say? Yes, personally, I think the mono album is the best bit of this. The stereo album, I will probably have to listen to a few more times. I'm probably giving it an injustice by saying I can't really see any difference to the 2012 ones. And I don't really think there's a lot of difference in it, to be honest. And then the session ones, yeah, I love it. But if you're just a casual fan, you might not like it as much as what I like it. But yeah, cracking little box set. Can't praise it enough. I think everybody that's been involved in making this and the production of it should actually be very proud. I think they've done a wonderful job. And that's going to be it. I can't really say anything else. I've shown you the unboxing, I've listened to it, and I've just given you my personal opinion. If you want to mark out of 10, I would give it a very high 9 3/4 out of 10. So not quite 10 out of 10, but just about. And the only thing that makes me not give it 10 out of 10 is there's a couple of things they could have done to make it a bit more of a wow factor. It has still got the wow factor, but we went over some of them on the other video. So the sound quality, I think, is brilliant. Don't get me wrong, the sound quality is brilliant. It's just little things that they seem to have neglected slightly. Like they've tried to make the albums look as authentic as possible, the mono and the stereo Revolver, but then surely it wouldn't have made much difference just to have it on flip back sleeves, would it? And then it's like the paperback writer EP, 4-track EP, you know, like I've said before, they've gone to all that trouble. It should come out the top and it comes out the side. It's just little things like that, which some of you might be thinking, well, Dave, you're just nitpicking. Dave might be nitpicking, but Dave's been a Beatles collector, a Beatles fanatic, and a Beatles fan for over 40 years. I'm not saying I'm unhappy with it at all. quite the contrary. I think it's brilliant. I do actually think it's brilliant. But I think a lot of people criticise it for that. I'm not criticising it. I'm just making that as an observation. If you know, just a few little finishing touches, and that would be better than what it is now. But it is brilliant now. That's all I can say. That is all I can say. Honestly, that's all I can say. Try to be as honest as I can be. So I hope I haven't offended anybody. And if you're still thinking of getting it and you can afford to get it, by all means go out and get it. That's all. And I can't say further than that, can I? You know, I'm not endorsed by any record company. I would say yes, it is a lot of money, but it's worth it, and it is very, very enjoyable. And I've loved every minute I put this on. I'm hearing slightly different things in the mixes. But like I say, on the stereo one, I think there's differences there, but they're probably not as obvious as what you'd think they'd be. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope I haven't offended anybody. Don't shoot the messenger. Like I've said in all my videos, they are just my personal opinions. If you don't agree with them, you don't agree with them. You know, that's fine. That's what YouTube is all about, isn't it? You know, everybody has a different opinion. It's like I've said to you, you know, you could live next door to me and we could both have that box set, but your hi-fi might be, you know, a more upmarket version than mine. So you might be hearing things on yours hi-fi that I don't hear on mine, or vice versa. And then everybody's hearing is slightly different as well, isn't it? Especially when you get to my age. You know, I'm knocking on a bit now. You know, I'm a bit more than 27 now. Quite a bit more. So once again, thank you to everybody that's supporting me in my channel, leaving me comments, liking my videos, and obviously people that are subscribing. If you haven't subscribed and you've liked this video, you know, please subscribe. It is free. That's all I say. You know, it is free. It doesn't cost you a penny. And if you haven't liked this video, check out some of my other videos, because there's enough on there now. I think getting up to, I think there's over 200 videos on there now. So there should be something for everybody in my little channel. And it's all of my chair. So until the next time, it's Beatle Dave saying peace, love and happiness. Stay safe, whatever you're doing, by the way. And if you haven't got that and you've ordered it, I hope it comes soon. And if you have got it and you haven't yet listened to it, you gotta really, really enjoy it. It's gonna blow your mind, some of the things on that. So until the next time, it's ta-ra for now, and love to you all.